Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a baby deer or fawn. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. On the left side, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle too. Draw this circle slightly bigger than the first circle. Don't place the circles far apart or the body will be too long. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video to draw at your own pace. On the top right side, draw a smaller circle as a guide for the head. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle as well. First, make 4 small marks to indicate the sides of the circle, and then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. This circle should be about half the size of the first circle. On the bottom right side of the head circle, draw a curved line as a guide for the muzzle. This guide should be similar to an arc on its side. Pay attention to the size of the muzzle in relation to the head. Draw a sloping line across the entire head. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later on. On the top left side of the head, draw an arc as a guide for the ear. Tilt the arc slightly to the left at the top. To the right, draw a smaller arc as a guide for the other ear. Under the first circle, draw a long angled line as a guide for the front leg. The top part of this line should look like a less than sign. The line bends to the right and then downward as the fawn steps forward. Fawns have long legs, so don't make this line too short. Under the circle on the right, draw another long angled line as a guide for the hind leg. Bend this line a few times to indicate the joints. This line bends to the left and then downward. Draw the bottom tip of this line farther down than the front leg because the front leg is raised. Under the first circle, draw a long vertical line as a guide for the other front leg. Bend the line slightly at the top and bottom to indicate the joints. Under the circle on the left, draw another angled line as a guide for the other hind leg. Bend the line to the left and then downward to indicate that the leg is raised. It's okay if you overlap the lines for the hind legs. Connect the head to the body using short curved lines to create the guide for the neck. The bottom line should be longer than the top line. Connect the body circles using longer lines to finish the guide for the torso. On the left side of the body, draw a short line that curves down as a guide for the tail. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. Use the sloping line as a guide to help you position the eye inside the head. When you get the size and position of the eye right, darken the shape. Draw a thick dark line at the top for the eyelashes. Make the shape slightly flatter as you darken the lines. Draw a couple of curved lines around the eye for the eyelid and wrinkles. Keep these lines close to the shape of the eye. Draw 2 short lines on the bottom right side to create the corner of the eye. Inside the eye, off to the side, draw a tiny circle for a highlight. In the middle of the eye, draw a small oval and shade it in for the pupil. Don't overlap the tiny highlight circle as you shade the pupil. On the tip of the muzzle, lightly sketch a small curved shape for the nose. Draw the nose on top of the construction guide. When you get the size and position of the nose right, darken the lines. Use a wavy line as you darken the top part of the nose. On the left side, draw a couple of curved lines for the nostril. Add a few more short lines to emphasize the nostril. Under the nose, draw a line that curves to the left for the mouth. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the line when you get the shape right. Draw a series of short strokes for a furry texture. Under the mouth, draw a curved line as a guide for the chin. Follow the path of the initial arc as you draw the chin. Draw a short curved line on top of the nose for the top part of the muzzle. Use the arc on the top left side as a guide to draw the ear. Darken the arc but make the shape pointier at the top and thinner at the bottom. Inside the shape, draw a series of short strokes to indicate the furry ear opening. Darken the arc on the right to create the other ear. Draw a wavy line inside the shape for the side of the ear. To the right, draw a few short strokes for the ear's furry opening. Use the other shapes as guides to draw the rest of the head. Darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the head. Curve the head on the right side to indicate the brow. Connect the top part of the head to the muzzle. Make the muzzle thinner than the initial arc. Add a few short strokes on the left side to create a furry texture. Don't close off the shape on the left side to indicate where the head meets the body. Add a few more short strokes inside the head for a furry texture. Use the angled line that's under the body on the right side as a guide to draw the front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top part of the leg wide and then gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. Curve the lines around the guide to create the joints. At the bottom, keep the edges of the leg close to the guideline so that the shape is thin. Make the bottom tip of the leg flat for the hoof. When you get the shape right, darken the lines. Curve the lines more where the shape bends to indicate the joints. Use a few short strokes at the top for a furry texture. The top part of the leg should be inside the body. At the bottom, draw a small square-like shape for the hoof. Draw a short line to split the hoof. Use the line on the left side as a guide to draw the hind leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top part wide and then gradually make the bottom thinner. It's okay to overlap the guideline for the other leg as you draw this leg. When you get the shape right, darken the lines. Use short strokes at the top for a furry texture. Bend the shape to indicate the joints. Draw a small square-like shape at the bottom for the hoof. Draw a line inside to split the hoof. Use the vertical line on the right side as a guide to draw the other front leg. Lightly sketch the leg around the guide and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Make the top part wider than the bottom. Bend the shape at the bottom for the joint. At the bottom, draw a square-like shape for the hoof. Draw a short line to split the hoof. Use the angled line on the left side as a guide to draw the other hind leg. Lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Don't overlap the first hind leg as you draw this leg. When you get the shape right, darken the lines. Use short strokes at the top for a furry texture. Curve the shape of the leg around the guide to indicate the joints. At the bottom, draw a small square-like shape for the hoof. Split the hoof by drawing a short line inside the shape. Use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Darken the short curved line on the left side for the tail. Add a few short strokes at the bottom for the fur on the tail. Darken the underside of the body using short strokes for a furry texture. Don't overlap the legs as you darken the underside of the body. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines, it's okay if you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. Use a medium value to shade the base of the coat. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. For light values, push down very lightly on your pencil, then push down harder for darker values. Leave a few sections blank around the eye and the ears for white fur. Shade the nose using a dark value. Inside the body, draw a series of small shapes for the spotted pattern on the coat. Shade the rest of the body, but don't overlap the spotted pattern. As you shade, use strokes that go in the direction of the fur. Leave a section blank on the neck and the underside of the body for the white fur. Add a darker value throughout the body to create some shadows. Shadows will give the figure more dimension and volume. Draw a cast shadow at the bottom using a medium value. Shading can be time-consuming, so be patient and take breaks. Keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the fawn. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com, where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.